Hey, everybody, back again. And guess who I'm with? Who is it? Who do you think? Nigel, Gillian, or Amy? It's Amy!
Hi, Karen.
Hello, my
Hi,
darling.
everyone.
So, the subject today is Zeppelins, or I don't know whether it's hot air balloons as well. I know that they're different things, but it could have been, you know, like, I don't know, there's this connection between hot air balloons and Zeppelins. I know that one is blowing fire to get one up and the other one's helium, but there's some big connection. Oh, I may as well say it because I've remembered it now. When I was watching that video of that guy the other day about star forts, the video yesterday I did, basically he said they were up in the air picking where they were going to put the star forts. And as star forts are quite old, maybe 400 or 500 years ago, these things had to have been in the air before that.
Right.
You know, we'd have been going, oh look, it's so busy up there. There's Zeppelins and hot air balloons everywhere. Maybe, I don't know what the different, you know, like why. But when you look at some of the pictures, which we're going to look at in a moment, the balloons look like mini Zeppelins. You know, and the other thing that gets me, we were talking about, was that, you know, we've watched those films where they're futuristic and they're in a balloon thing with a ship underneath. They must have been real. They really were up in ships up in the sky.
Yes.
I know, it's crazy. Amy can't see any of the pictures right now and has to wait. But what it is I found, because I was looking up the history. So when we're looking at it, it's Wikipedia, and it says that a Zeppelin is a type of rigid airship named after the German inventor. So they're saying it wasn't invented till 1874, but that can't be true. But he's Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin. He pioneered the rigid airship development at the beginning of the 20th century. Zeppelin's notions were first formulated in 1874 and then developed in 1893. But I just don't believe any of these dates anymore. I just don't believe anything.
Oh, no.
It's so hard to believe anything that they say, isn't it?
It is. Yes.
Anyway, I'm looking through the footage and I basically go, who invented it? So there you go. But then it says, it talks about 1900. Well, they were actually going in 1893 or even 1874. So that was 25 years earlier. So I don't get that, why there's 1918. Anyway, who used them? So, Count von Zeppelin, a retired German officer, flew... Well, let's just stop the footage a minute because it goes quite quick. Flew his first airship in 1900. They were lighter than air, filled with hydrogen, with a steel framework. When the war started in 1914, the German armed forces had several Zeppelins, each capable of travelling at 85 miles an hour and carrying up to 2 tons of bombs.
Wow.
This is just what the internet's saying. We don't know if any of this is true anymore, do we? And then it says, how did the Zeppelin work? Using helium or hydrogen. The interior of Zeppelin was structured by large rings of metal girders and was filled to the brim with hydrogen. The gas is lighter than air, which made the ship fly. The airship was propelled by a specially devised blue gas. Seems quite incredible, doesn't it? It's lighter than air. I mean, you don't walk around going, oh my God, air is so heavy. But this stuff's lighter than air. But anyway, we're moving on. I'm just looking through a few of the titles here, but I don't know if I use any of them. I don't know because they're not interesting enough for me. Oh, I think I go. Oh, so although airships were originally used for maritime, let's have a look. Stop there. Maritime and army reconnaissance. I couldn't say that earlier on. I was trying to say it. Reconnaissance. Germany was first to employ them as a strategic weapon. The German Navy complemented unrestricted submarine warfare by incorporating Zeppelins into their combined army campaign, bombing London and introducing total war against civilians. Well, that's what the internet says, but I wanted to find out a bit more, because I just, you know, when you look at some of these older balloons... Oh, and then we're going to one more, actually. Sorry, one more. So the first Zeppelin was completed in the winter of 1899, but it wasn't. It was 1874, really. But this must... I don't know, anyway. But von Zeppelin decided to wait until the summer of 1900 before attempting to fly his invention. The ship was inflated with hydrogen gas in June and made its maiden voyage on the 2nd of July 1900. Well, probably a couple of hundred years before that, knowing the history is always a lie. Oh, another one, sorry. Another one I've done. I thought I'd finished. This is like, what made the Hindenburg crash? Almost 80 years of research and scientific tests support the same conclusion reached by the original German and American accident investigations in 1937. It seems, so it's only going for 37 years. It seems clear that the Hindenburg disaster was caused by an electrostatic discharge, a spark that ignited leaking hydrogen. Wouldn't they have gone through all that in the tests and just anyway? But they stopped using them after this. But what a lot of people say is that this was done on purpose so that it stopped for some reason those Zeppelins. It was, a bit like with Concorde. We have one accident and then none of the planes are flying again. And Concorde was well before its time, really.
Yes.
Yeah, so one accident stopped the Zeppelins, which is crazy, isn't it?
It is.
But anyway, when we look at this one, right? So we're on the hot air balloon one now. Let's move it on a little bit. I think it moves on just a little bit. There you go. These things look like mini Zeppelins. They've got like a boat underneath it, and they're just mini Zeppelins. Even though it's called it's an air balloon. It says air balloons and airships lift because they are buoyant, meaning the total weight of the airship or balloon is less than the weight of the airship it displaces. Crazy that, isn't it? The Greek philosopher first established the basic principle of buoyancy. Hot air balloons were first flown by these brothers Joseph and whatever that is, Etemine Montgolfier, as early as spring 1793. And I think it was earlier than that. I think everything is earlier than that.
Yes.
Well, the materials and technology are very different. The principles used by the earliest 18th century experimenters continue to carry modern sport and weather balloons aloft. Anyway, it's just going through. It's only 7 minutes long, this video, but it might be a bit longer. Well, actually, we're on 8 minutes and we've got 7 minutes to go. But anyway, some of these balloons just look like mini Zeppelins, really. Will we ever know what's the difference? Anyway, people can just read that if they want. They've taken out flight for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, and there's a bit more information about it in 1783. France this was. But they've got to be going from earlier than that. They've just wiped it out of our history, whatever they are, balloons or Zeppelins. And then this one says, the first powered airship. Oh, sorry, we've got to get away from that. It's an agreement that you've got to do. Just waiting for me to click it. So this one explains 1873. It's the same article, but it's called an airship. You say something. I'm moving the microphone back down there, Amy. I just wanted it noted. It says Henry Griffith's steam-powered airship. So I was quite amazed to think that there was steam balloons or Zeppelins up there as well. I've never heard of that one before. That they were powered by steam. Have you, Amy?
No, I didn't either.
No.
Yeah. No.
Well, you learn something new every day, even though the internet lies to you all the time. It's added something there. Steam ships. That would make a lot of sense though if they were steam. But anyway,
Yes.
I might look up a little. I don't know. We'll have a look afterwards to see if we can find anything. But anyway, thank you, Amy.
You're welcome, Karen.
Hey, I just wanted to look up steam balloons, and I've come to the SAMFU Go balloon bomb, which the Japanese were dropping on the Americans. It's a sea lantern, it says up there, and it was used in the Second World War. Looks like Saturn balloon to me. Looks like a Saturn balloon. It says that they were from £33 to £26. Incredibly, devices attached. It was designed as a cheap weapon intended to make use of the jet stream over the Pacific Ocean and drop bombs on the Americans. And cities, forests, farmland, Canada and Mexico reported the balloon sightings as well. Anyway, we're going to stop there because it talks about all in the Second World War. But I've never heard of them before. Have you, Amy?
No, Karen. I never heard of them either. It's the first I've heard of them.
Ugh.
To be honest, yes.
Me too. Anyway, so there you are. The SAMFU Go balloon bomb. Well, Amy and I looked up a bit about steam balloons and steam airships. It says the idea of using steam, vapour, H2O, phase H2O and water as lift gas for powered airship has been suggested many times. Crayley 1815 was the first, and further proposals have been made by Erdmann 1909, Papist 1969, and there's Gerard in 1991. These projects appear to have remained merely theoretical, although several were quite detailed. It appears that no full-scale trials or even experiments have been performed. But that's not what that article said, was it? It said that they had them in 18 whatever it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're just adding steam balloons. I've never heard of steam balloons before. Have you, Amy? I haven't.
No, Karen, no, I've never heard of them before.
Anyway, I'll just show you a little bit more information. You can read it at your own leisure. But again, talks about lots of figures and things, so I'm glad we're not reading it because it's just too much. And anyway, the article is quite long and goes down to here. What's that? It's got some figures there for everybody. Yes, but I've never heard of steam balloons before. Would be much better way of travelling, wouldn't it? Much safer and yeah. Anyway, that's that. Anyway, me and Amy have finished that bit. We just wanted to add that bit in. There's a little bit of information about steam balloons. Not a balloon in this one, an airship. So they obviously are mixing the Zepplins in with the balloons. Oh, it does say first hot air balloon there. But it's called an airship. Anyway, we're on to the next one now, and that one is The Strangeness, the Great Air Balloon Riot of 1864. Yeah, you don't see the balloon, but that's what it says. And then that one says 1878. So that's in Paris again. There's not much information. And then the next ones, they've got balloons. How would they do that? They're totally separate things. That says 1930 to 1933. And then basically the same kind of picture. Then there's 19 to 19, whatever it was, 22. But this one here, I just want to go back a little bit to that one. How many of us have seen these in films? They weren't unreal. They were real, not real. It's a boat in the sky. You know, like a, what do you call it, with the big beams in them? You know, like pirate ships. It's not quite, but it's similar to like one of those up in the sky. Do we know ever the truth about anything? Just we're the last ones to know. That one says downward preaching of a hot, but it looks like a mini Zeppelin. That says it's a hot air balloon. Looks like a Zeppelin. And then I just picked a few to go to. Structure of these hot air balloons is quite amazing, Amy. They're just so big.
Yeah.
So much amazing. Right, there's them. I mean, that's what I want to do. When we finish recording this, I want to go and look at the people in the picture because they're saying 1935. But when I look at the people, from my standpoint here, the people look like they're older. They don't look like the 1930s.
Oh, really?
We'll do that
Wow.
afterwards. I'll go and have a look. But there's amazing footage of the US Army airship carrier that sunk. What? Amazing footage of the US Navy's aircraft carrier that sunk in 1935. That's all it says.
Oh.
But stuff, and so deep, like, wow, just these things were enormous that they were building these things. So we're just going to look at this bit of footage, well, this picture here, to see if we can establish how the people are. So I'm zooming in, I'm going to zoom in a second. Where, oh, I know what I've done. I wanted to see, because what it was is, the thing that stood out to me was that this person here looks like she's got a bonnet on. And then when you look, where are they? There's people here. They've got, that person there looks like they've got a boater on. That's not the 1930s, is it? That's the 1800s.
Right.
But can you, I don't know, they look like, you know, like Little House on the Prairie kind of time.
Yes.
It looks like another one. It looks almost like he's got, it could be a hat, but very light coloured hat that looks like a boater. And they've got very long dresses on. Like, they weren't in long dresses in the 1930s. Oh, look, you can see through his body. Well, that's fake then, isn't it? Look. Oh, no, he's standing in front of something. No, it's okay. He's standing in front of something. I wonder what it was, but you can see his body had gone. But they've got long dresses on, Amy. They didn't have long dresses in the 1930s, did they? Look.
Right.
Well, they didn't, did they? That's like the 1800s.
Yeah, more like 1800s.
See, they've all got, I mean, maybe she looks a little bit more like she's the 1930s, but you can definitely see some of them have got really long dresses on here. I don't know what to make of that. I think this picture's older than they say it is.
Yes, probably so.
Just look at that thing being built. Just look at it. Look what they managed to do, even if it's earlier than that. Look at it, this great big structure they're making in a great big warehouse.
Well,
Like, we can't, anyway, I'm pretty sure that these are that's a boater, that's a boater. So I also want to know what people's feelings are. These women have got long dresses on, which they wouldn't have had in the 1930s.
right.
You can't really make much more out. In that one there, her dress doesn't look as long, that one. Maybe it's the 1920s, 1910. So it's a crossover of the Victorian into the more modern. I don't know, but I think this photograph is older than they say it is. Not the 1930s, maybe 20, 30 years, because they've got to lie about their history, haven't they? Look at that building, just look at it, just look at the building. The building in itself is amazing. Crazy. Anyway, thanks, Amy. Any thoughts, Amy, before we go on this bit?
Oh, just more stuff to wonder about. Just don't know. But yeah, it's really interesting. We just don't know what they've told us about history, what we can believe. Have to question it all.
We still get to I don't know at the end, because you still can't prove anything.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, we're moving on now, Amy.
Okay, Karen. Yes.
Anyway, this is completely different now, because I wasn't meaning to do trains. Look at that train. Look at that, the 1800s, and look at the detail of everything. Just look at it. We were making them. Yeah, it's just quite incredible. Anyway, so I didn't mean to press those old trains. I just thought that was quite amazing. Oh, it's doing it, moving up to the top of that building and then getting and walking on as if it's an aeroplane. Oh, look, they're just walking on there. There's no safety, no nothing, and they're just walking onto that thing. I mean, wow.
Right.
And it's anchored to the top of a building. I mean, they must have been quite quite a few of them so that they can anchor them to the top of the buildings. Like a little thing comes out and then it just goes in the top of the building and that keeps the airship there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's quite incredible. Oh, let's just go to the top of the Empire State Building and get on the Zeppelin.
I know.
I'd be going, I can't get on there, I might fall off.
Me too.
Any
That's
thoughts,
right.
Amy? Oh, that one. Oh, that one's the Hindenburg crashing. I think that's the last picture. We've got to the end now. Oh, yep, Hindenburg explodes, but we know what that's about now. That was stopping of the. But we finished now, Amy. So, do you have any thoughts, Amy?
No, it's just fascinating, and like you said, I can't believe how they would pick them up like off the Empire State Building, a big Zeppelin.
No, that was me. But they're on top of a building. But they have to anchor They anchor like a little hook. You know, like a little hook comes out, and then it goes into the top of something, and they anchor it then. But to do that, then they had to have been quite worldwide. Surely you wouldn't have those things up if it was only 10 air balloons, would you?
Right. Yeah, it's just more stuff to question about with the Zeppelins and the hot air balloons.
Yeah, I'm no expert in any of this, but that's
more question.
That's the point of this video. I'm no expert, but what does everybody think about Zeppelins and the whole thing? I mean, they must have been flying for a lot longer than they tell us that they are, because
right.
You know, we've got, even though they're Victorian, you've got white horses around Marlborough. Well, they're best to be seen from the air. You know, they were putting star forts down from the air. You know, in 18-something, Stan's going, he had that 360 picture, remember? Which was 4D. Yeah. And so that was from the air. So they had to be in the air then.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, it could have been balloons, but I'm wondering how much is balloons and how much is Zeppelins.
Right.
I know that they're different, like ones with flames, isn't it? That is crazy, isn't it? You put flames up in the balloon and it goes up.
Right, I know.
When you think about it, it's crazy, isn't it? Oh, well, our whole life's crazy, isn't it? But anyway, I've made this just to make people think about things and what's people's ideas about Zeppelins. Don't you think, Amy?
Yes, Karen. It's very something to wonder about and see what's going on with it.
Look at that picture there. It looks like, look at that. It's weird. That fire and flames almost looks like hands coming down there. But anyway, we're going to stop now. Amy, my darling, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Karen.